Nice to see you.
Thank you so much for speaking to me. This is a huge season, both music-wise, character-wise, and everything else. What I wanted to know, kind of, how do you want this kind of season to separate itself from the previous seasons that we've seen before?
Oh, yeah. Well, our theme on set is Eye of the Tiger this year.
Mhm.
And it was, hey, we've been doing this now for a minute and we got to come back stronger, faster, better. And we did, and I think it'll just be really exciting to see our fans' reaction to the season.
Right. And what I love, you're incorporating so many different storylines at once, but it blends in effortlessly. One of the things that really fascinated me was the use of actual, like, real-time events and facts. We have, for example, the Red Tails that we've known from the previous season. This one is kind of the incorporation of where the wife is trying to, sorry, Lucille is trying to get welfare, but she's unable to because Charles is still living in the house. That's
Yes.
based on an actual reality and the rules at that time. Can you talk about the research process of even the minute details and how it's interwoven and impacted by the characters?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, authenticity is really important to us. And when it's a period piece, getting to do that research and figure out interesting ways to tell the story and what are the obstacles. So with Charles and Lucille, so our theme on set was Eye of the Tiger, but our theme within the writer's room as storytellers was the enemy within. And what did Lucille want? She wanted her welfare and she wanted him out of the house. And now he is her enemy within because she needs to get him out of the house. So you'll see this enemy within theme percolating through all, touching upon all our storylines, all our characters.
It also touches upon religion as well. We know that Lucille and her church, that's always been the main goal for her, but also with the brothers, when we have it, there's a scene of voodoo, and he's like, nope, I'm Christian. I don't believe in that. Can you talk about incorporating that side of religion and how it separates the two brothers?
Yeah, so the Mexico storyline is based off true events. So we ran with it. We thought it was such a just interesting story that we haven't seen before. Um, and that the boys were raised in a Christian home. Family religion were so important to them. And, you know, it created great conflict.
Completely agree with that. Also, kind of talking about the conflict, I wanted to talk about kind of writing about the two different ideologies of the brothers and how that finally leads to an impasse, you could say. What was it like, kind of more defining each character individually, as opposed to when we first met them when they were together and kind of thought the same?
Yeah, it's been really fun and interesting also just to see both actors grow, um, and just become the young men that they are. And there's a natural thing, right? They started when they were teenagers and now they're on the rise and they've been very successful and power changes people. And their wants are different now too, you know? T likes being in Detroit. He likes being there. Meech likes being in Atlanta. He likes being with that family. Um, so they both have these things that they want. They both have their own prophecies, and they're both going to go about getting it any way they can, even if that means cutting each other out.
Right. One of the things also that I loved about this, obviously, we have the music part, which has
Yeah.
always been the theme since day zero.
Yeah.
Working up to that, where do you find the beats, not in just this season, but the overall seasons that we've seen of which point we're going to get to in their lives and how the music is incorporated?
Yeah, I know that even when we did like the Jack the Rapper season 3, I know Pops, the real Pops, loved listening to Marvin Gaye. And I remember that moment when that song cleared from the estate. And then for the time period for season four, it's just been so interesting. We knew what that time period was going to be, and we wanted to have those iconic moments, as you saw, with the Source Awards. Um, and because so many artists hung out with Big Meech for their own street cred, too. A lot of these artists were rapping about the streets, but weren't necessarily in them. And so being with Meech out in the club, that was real street cred, right? So just getting to tease that storyline, Stomping Ground Records, it was their real first label that they launched. And so they got to take the passion that they had with for that Pops instilled in them with the music and then infuse it into the business side. So we're just really excited about that piece of it.
Right? We have to talk about Lamar. That my jaw dropped when that trailer dropped, and we saw Lamar. He has been through a lot. What I wanted to know is, what do you feel his intentions are for this season, and do they differ? Because he last time we saw him, he was addicted to crack forcefully, but he was still addicted.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, it's such a great surprise to have
Mhm.
him back. And you will see as it unfolds, in episode one, he's starting over, he's worked the program and but you have to see where the road takes him.
Mhm. Okay, I like that teaser. So then, what we're also dealing with is the return of Big Mickey, and it seems that he is acting more out of sense of a desperation as
Yeah.
opposed to more of a want. He wants his child to you need to have the surgery to get better, but he's more like I'm willing to do anything that I have to. How
Yeah.
much do you feel that morals play into not just B. Mickey's character, but the overall theme of this season with these different characters possibly doing questionable things? Is it more of an act of fear? Is it desperation? What do you feel they lead by?
I think it's a redemption story for B. Mickey. Um, he lost everything, and this is his second chance, and his second chance to have a real family and to thrive in the world, not just survive. And so having him back was just really fun and unexpected. But yeah, he's seeking redemption, as a brother, right? To the boys and a father and a partner. He's seeking all those things to reclaim his manhood, and it's a really beautiful story that we have planned for him.
So also the daughter is going through her own awakening, sexuality, and she's really speaking up for herself and kind of at times going against her brothers who always kind of I felt just not used her would be a great word, but she was there
Hmm.
to kind of help them along the way. She was that family oriented thing. What I wanted to know is her exploration of not just her sexuality, but becoming her own person. How do you feel that it dictates not just where she is, but Lucille, who's also very close to her?
Yeah, Nicole is a character that's under a lot of pressure. She's in quotes, the last hope, right? The brothers went in the drug game. Nicole is the last hope and symbol for Charles and Lucille that maybe they did do something right as parents. And so you have her achieve this milestone. And of course, what is the hero's goal, right? To go to college and do all those things. But as storytellers, it's our job to rip the rug out and put some really terrible obstacles in the way. And will the hero overcome? You'll have to stay tuned and find out.
How much do you feel that the character's happiness kind of dictates the writers?
Oh gosh, I mean, there have been so many scenes that I've written that I've cried over, and this family has been through so much. They've
Mhm.
been through so much in real life. And so we also want to show joy too
Right,
on our show, and the family component is so important. And what I love about Pops, about Charles' journey, you really see him in his element and having some joy and hope, you know?
right,
So, and then we get such a kick out of it. We have the best time. We have so much fun when we're pitching and when we're writing, and then when we get to sit in a cast read through and be on Zoom and hear our cast react to things and people laugh. It's a lot of fun, and we know because our audience is so invested, that they will share in the joy and that they will share in the heartbreak, um, and or create some awesome memes too.
right. So I was also wondering, finding the balance between fictionalized story and real events. How
Mhm.
does that process work in this season?
Yeah, listen, we always want to tell the most entertaining story, right? We're
Mhm.
our job is to get the audience to come back every week, have a great cliffhanger, um, have shootouts, have danger, wonder if someone's not going to make it one week and have betrayals and twists and turns. That's our job. The story of BMF is so incredible on its own. You couldn't have a more charismatic hero than Big Meech. You just
Mhm.
couldn't. And so we already have the foundation of an incredible story with very engaging heroes, and then we get to dramatize it and blow it up and take creative liberty with it, and we just have a blast doing it.
Right. Then lastly, was there a favorite plot twist of previous seasons that made the cut?
Um, I love when when Charles sang to Lucille. He
Mm,
wrote the song for her. We didn't see it coming. I really love those character storylines. Um, and I think too, like we were all so excited for Miss Lucille. She'd been through so much with Charles and Miss Mabel. Don't lend your pan to Miss Mabel, right? And it's like she finally got, Dr. Maurice. It was looking really good. And then everything just fell apart in that hotel room. That was some real shizzle. And then of course the reveal. I was in Detroit when we got to shoot. I was there with Randy Huggins, who created the show. I was in Detroit when we filmed the scene at the rollercade when she found the receipt
yeah,
at the rest. Like that stuff, check marks, fire, fire, fire.
wonderful. Thank you so much for speaking to me.
Yeah,
And
nice
I
to
look
meet you.
forward to more. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. Thanks for your time.
Dana, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
We'll send you to the hospitality room for next.
Okay.
She's really really great.
Yeah.
Um, Next you'll have Danny Canada. She
Okay.
is with Bossip. She's a huge fan of the show and even the Power franchise as well. So when you wrote on the original Power, she's very familiar with your work there as well.
Okay, nice.
I'm moving her in.
Thank you.
Hey, Danny.
Hey,